Hello. Just barely made it. Whoa, that was hilarious. I tried to start the show. Listen, I got a lot of stuff to do every day. I'm doing tons of stuff. In fact, today, I got my tooth drilled. I didn't get my tooth drilled because I had a new cavity. It was an old cavity. It was actually a filling I had, and the the dentist, I don't know what you want to call him. Did you know, by the way, that dentists have a high rate of suicide? That just happens to be a random fact. But also, I went to the dentist. I had a cracked filling. He fixed my cracked filling. My face was numb up until about 20 minutes ago. And I was just running around doing stuff all day long. But here I am, alas. Welcome to the show. I didn't even update the show title today. Oh, boy. Hey, Judy. Hello? I thought Judy was there. Let me just start again. Oh, there you are, Judy. I didn't even update the show title. Everything was lagging. It's okay. It doesn't matter. You can listen to this as a podcast the next day, and you'll hear it. You'll see it. You'll talk about it. You talk to your friends about it. What did I even say this was? Let me check my Twitter. Boy, oh boy. Oh. Yeah, I guess true crime. Why not? Suspect taken into custody. That's still true. Let me talk about that real quick. Yeah, the suspect for the shooting in Brooklyn is taken into custody, which is good. I don't think that guy should be roaming the streets. You know what I'm saying? Let me close this. I'm a chicken with its head cut off, which is a horrible thing to imagine. A lot of people say that. You ever notice how we have so many farm animal types of analogies and metaphors? There's so many. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Why don't we say you could drive your car to the gas station, but you can't fill it up, with gas, I guess. I don't know. Hey, Judy, what's up? Welcome to the show. I don't know what else to say. Welcome. How are you? I don't hear anything. Uh-oh. Oh.
Good. I'm still trying to figure something out. Hold on one sec.
There you are. No worries. So anyway, I went to the dentist today. They fixed my filling. Judy, do you ever go to the dentist? My hair is like out of control here. I don't know if you're talking right now.
Yes.
You ever get? Remember when we were kids?
I go to the dentist every 6 months.
Oh yeah, me too. Remember when we were kids and they would be like, "Thank you for coming to the dentist. Here's a lollipop. See you real soon." Remember that? We like drilling
that was
your teeth.
Nefarious, right?
Yeah, it was. Pops or whatever. But they were straight up Charms lollipops, like those big old sugary stick in your teeth, create cavities lollipops, because those dentists know what they're doing. I had a friend, they got so many, every time they went to the dentist, they got their teeth drilled, and I was like, they didn't even check, your parents didn't check to see if that was actually, see, this is what happens, this is what I do, because I'm a bit of I get very touchy about things, about when procedures are done on my body. I'm very, very specific about what is, I ask many questions. I don't like the lack of control, as it were. So, and I also am really concerned about what they're going to do. So, for instance, whenever the dentist or whomever says, "Oh, you got a cavity, right?" Hang on one second. And I'm back. Okay. I'm just trying to... Good golly. So many audio issues. So, every time I go to the dentist, they're like, "Oh, if there is a cavity..." I didn't have a cavity for... So far, a year and a half, I haven't had a cavity, which is good. I actually, broke a tooth eating some, tortilla chips, of all things. A year and a half
Oh my
ago.
gosh.
Yeah, it was terrible. Actually, I had to get a crown for that one. I'm just sitting there eating chips and a whole big chunk of my tooth comes off. And I'm like, this is not supposed to be like that. But if they say, "Hey, you got a cavity, we got to drill holes in your body," I go, "Show me where the cavity is." and then literally, I want to know that in fact there is a cavity. I wanted them to demonstrate for me where it is. One time, I was at the emergency room, right? I was just telling the story to my nurse friend, and she was like, "That's horrible." She's a doctor. So I was like in the emergency room because my back was killing me. I had the worst back pain of my entire life. I have an L5-S1 bulging disc, and it's so painful. I don't recommend it for anybody. It's the most horrible possible. You don't have another back to lean on when your back hurts. So it's really painful. And I was in the emergency room and I had to work the next day. And I'm like, give me a shot in my spine. Give me steroids. I need to work tomorrow. I cannot walk. And they were like, oh, yeah? Your back hurts, huh? And suddenly I realized, I'm a brown guy in an emergency room complaining about back pain in a very white neighborhood. And I was like, and my girlfriend at the time is a veterinarian. And she actually picked up on that pretty quickly, too, where she was like, oh, they're being racist. And because I was like, I need someone to stick a needle in my spine. And they're like, basically like, you're here for Oxycontin or Vicodin. Now, let me just continue to say, I've never taken a Vicodin before that in my entire life. I've never taken an Oxycontin. I've never taken any opioids ever in my entire life. And the nurse came in like 15 minutes later. She's like, here, take this. And it's a gigantic horse pill. And I was like, what is it? And she said, it's Vicodin. And I said, okay, what is that going to do? And she's like, you've never taken a Vicodin? like I'm supposed to have taken a Vicodin. And I'm like, I've never been in pain before. Why would I need to take a Vicodin? But apparently people use it recreationally. I don't. So I was sitting there going, I was getting frustrated with this person because I was like, can you please explain to me what is about to happen to me if I ingest this drug that you're giving me? Because I would like to be counseled on the effects and the side effects of this medication because I am in the worst pain of my life and I don't like to ingest things that are just drugs. Don't just give me drugs. And I mean, I am unlike many people in that respect. I think there are a lot of people who are just like, give me drugs.
I think you are. I think most people are just like, okay, you tell me to take it. All right.
No
sure
way.
Thing.
No way, Judy. I go, I say, tell me what this drug does. Tell me what it, but it's true. You're absolutely right. People will just be like, okay. Like you go to the dentist, they're like, you got a cavity. They're like, okay, drill me up. Drill up my holes in my teeth. And you kind of like don't even double check and respect. There's a lot of medical malpractice that happens. Like sometimes people get the wrong leg amputated, and I'm like, I have a weird irrational fear about that kind of thing. But thank God I had espresso right before the show. So I'm sitting there about to take this pill. Vicodin is what I'm going to call this show. And so now imagine this. I'm in the worst pain of my life. Hello, Raccoon Raiders. Welcome to the show. I'm in the worst pain of my life. I can't stand. I can't even walk for 20 feet without like my terrible shooting pain down my leg. And I take the Vicodin. And about 20 minutes later, I was in the worst pain of my life. And I felt like I was freaking out of my mind. So I was like, this isn't helping at all. This isn't helping at all.
That's what I've heard about Vicodin, is that it doesn't actually, it's not a pain reliever. It just like makes you like feel differently.
Interesting. Because I could tell you the pain did not change. What changed was my state of mind. I just felt completely out of my mind. And I was like, this is not fun for me. It might be fun for some people. A lot of people who take like Oxycontin and Vicodin, like when I was telling this to my friend who's a doctor, she was like, "Oh yeah, it's a totally like a genetic body chemistry thing. That probably just does. You probably don't have like opioid receptors like other people do or whatever. You're just not. It's not something that's gonna like. It's not something you're gonna like. It'll just make you feel crazy." But that's the thing, is like other people are like, it just feels so good. You got any Vicodin? You got any Oxyn? You're an adult. You've encountered people who are into recreational drug use of the opioid nature, and also terrible fentanyl use and all of this stuff that's going on and people dying from it. But I'm like, I don't like it. So I've taken like 2 Vicodins my entire life and maybe 4 Oxycontins my entire life for back pain. And it just, I tell you, I think Oxycontin just made me like feel like I don't even know, just probably like a lump on a log, which I guess is enjoyable for some people. And Vicodin just made me feel like I was out of my freaking mind. I did take it like 2 or 3 times to make sure that it wasn't that one time, and I was like, no, this isn't for me. Can't do it. Even for the worst pain in my life. The worst pain in my life. You know what helps? Aleve.
What?
Naproxen. That's the only thing that helps. So I take
I usually just stick to ibuprofen. That's what works for me. Tylenol doesn't work for me. Aleve doesn't tend to work for me. Ibuprofen is better, but I'm not really... I try not to take it as much as possible.
Yeah, same. Just some mornings I wake up and it's like, oh, it's going to be a fun back day. So I just take 2 Aleve and I'm good for 12 hours, actually. Or maybe like 10 hours.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's but yeah, basically in that instance, I was in an emergency room being treated like some guy who came off the street looking for drugs.
That sucks.
It sucks. You know what else sucks? I'm just going to read this on the air. I posted an old TikTok today. I don't know if you saw it on Instagram. I'm just like kind of recycling my old TikToks to try to just keep my social medias going while I conjure up new ones. And I posted this one today, which was what some white people, like what people of color feel. Like, I don't know. The only thing that I would critique about this one TikTok is I don't speak for all people of color.
Sure, of course not.
I think I speak for all people of color when I say I don't speak for all people of color. What I said is when some white people say, oh, I don't see race, I don't see color or whatever, I don't see race. I'm not racist, I don't see race, whatever. And then I said, what people of color hear. That's the only critique. I would say what some people of color hear when some white people say. Now, I was very specific. You could read it. I literally say some white people.
Right.
Some. And then I wrote same white people and like the next part of it. And I said, this is what people of color hear. Here, you know what? I'll just play it. Because I'm trying to describe it when I could just play it. So...
Go for it.
Say they don't see color. Oh, I'm not racist. I don't see color. What people of color hear when some white people say they don't see color. Oh, I'm not racist. I don't see color. Can't we all just be white?
So that's the joke. So specifically, I'm telling you what I hear sometimes when some white people say that. Now, there's
absolutely truth to that. There's truth to it. That's why it's funny.
Well, the thing is, that is what I hear. That's my experience that I'm expressing my personal experience, which someone, and like, that's what I hear sometimes. I'm like, oh, you just don't want you don't want to recognize anything different. You don't want to recognize any differences or the similarities. You don't want to recognize those things. You just want to have everybody be the same. But to you, this person in question is being white. So it's kind of like that's
right.
That's kind of like the implication oftentimes when people are talking about kind of those kinds of things. Because there are cultural and ethnic differences that we can appreciate and also treat equally. But there's always, in American culture, the standard of what is like European culture is supposedly the standard for America. And it's just really not the, it's like there's white and then there's everything else. It's kind of like the implication. There's
Right.
white is the thing, and then there's everything else, instead of just a mixing pot of all of the different things. So this person just wrote to me. I'm going to read it on the air here. You're way out of line on that one, bro. That was a racist comment. A majority of white people don't think like that. I'm going to stop right there because he clearly didn't read the text on the screen that says some white people. He says, I see a lot of people of different races getting along daily.
Right. Cool.
Thank you, white. Let me just say that this guy, I imagine he identifies as a straight white male. This is my assumption based on knowing him. It's a very small majority who think like that, and that's what you and the mainstream media like to focus on. When someone throws in mainstream media, you know they watch Fox News. Just saying. And I'm glad that I'm getting this lecture from a presumably straight white male. I'm really glad about this. And there's racism in all cultures. It's just not white people. When you hold a magnifying glass close and long enough, you're going to find something that fits your narrative. When you walked into our studio, did I treat you like that? No, I didn't. I treated you with a lot of respect. I don't dig those comments. That's a very woke way of thinking. Uh-oh. When you use woke as a weapon, again, Fox News. I've seen you on the State Farm commercials. It's Redfin, bro. You're confusing me with Doug. Or whatever the guy's name is. And then he says, in the State Farm commercials, and a few others. Did you get those jobs because you were black or because of your talent? I'm thinking it's because of your talent, but that's just me. So I just wrote, hey man, I hear you, and what it sounds like to me, my personal experience. Also, I clearly say some white folks, not all.
I feel like I'm losing you.
You're losing me? Uh-oh. I should probably not move. Here, let me reduce the amount of clutter here. Do you hear Diatribe? Are you there? Jake from Steve, that's right. Okay. Can you hear me? Did you hear any of that? Hello? Oh, he's writing back. But the point is, he missed the point. Judy, are you there? Earth to Judy. Mork calling Orson. Come in, Orson. We lost Judy. Well, that's inexcusable. Someone said that to you. I don't know what he's saying. I think he might have taken a Vicodin. If you ask me.
I got the gist of most of it.
All right, I'll read it again. I'll just read it again just for the sake of, in case it got dropped.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes. In case that got dropped on the recording, I'm trying to reduce. Hello, I can hear you. Can you hear me? It's getting buffered.
Well, basically, here's the thing is that, anyone who's going to take what you said and be defensive about it, obviously has probably actually had those thoughts.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why they're taking it a reason why they're taking it personally.
This guy's not a bad guy. I just don't think that's all the point. You know what I mean? I just think the point just kind of went right past him. And there is a lot of defensiveness when
Let me log off and come back in. Maybe it's my Wi-Fi.
Okay. There's a lot of stuff that goes on. Yeah. I think he just wrote back again. If you're watching, I'm not going to say your name, but if you're watching, welcome to the show. And if you want to talk about it, you can join the Discord. Interesting to think it's interesting to have to. I don't think I have to explain myself when it's like this is what it sounds like often. You know, if this is what it sounds like to me, how are you going to tell me that that's not true? You know what I mean? That's what they call gaslighting. Gaslighting, the hot topic of today. I see you, Judy. I just don't hear you. I'm going to try to log out of all these things. Well, I'm on one. There we go. Maybe that'll help. Now I'm no longer on the Wi-Fi. I don't know if that helps or it hurts. But, yeah. State Farm. I should be like, Redfin, bro. The Redfin commercials. That was a fun gig. Went to Bulgaria for that a year ago. It's crazy. But I'm just going to say, you know, I think when people react to going, hey, this is what this sounds like.
Right,
when
you're giving your perspective. Right.
Yeah. It's like, whatever your intentions are, like, just know that, you know, that sounds like that. So to some people. Some white people saying that, because you don't see black people saying that. You know what I mean? You've never seen black people go, I don't see color. Like, maybe you do. I don't know. I just don't really think that. I think that black people are very aware. Black and brown people and people in this country are very aware of not being of the privileged class in this country. So it's a very apparent thing. And I feel like when a lot of people have sort of, quote, woken up to this a couple of years ago when the Black Lives Mattered, that, you know, I think that a lot of the folks just got instantly defensive, just like, no, it's not true. I want to, it's everything's good. Everything's fine. You're fine. Your life has been good. It's just like, sure, my life's been pretty good. It's been above average, I would say. However, you know, these things happened. I do experience this. This is, stop trying to say I don't. Stop trying to deny my reality. You know what I mean? Like I was saying a couple weeks ago, I feel like when you're a white person and you're like the only white person at a party, I honestly I don't know what that's like. First of all, second of all, I don't know. Dude, maybe I don't know. Maybe you know someone who's can talk about. I honestly don't. If you're the only white person, are like black people going, so what's it like being white? Are there like people at a party that like surround the white person and be like, let me ask you a bunch of questions about being white? I don't think that happens as much as it does in the opposite direction. If you're like black or brown and you're at like a very white party, there's always these like sort of insinuations or like questions about where did you grow up? You know, and it's like, I don't think that, you know, I think that it's caught, the essence of that is caught really well in the movie Get Out when Chris is at the rich white people party. And it's cool because it's a double entendre.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
So I have been like the only white person at a party, or maybe like one of two, or like in some of the workspaces that I'm in, I'm definitely the only white person. And I never get any of those questions ever whatsoever.
Interesting.
So it's a very, you know, like I definitely don't have to get interrogated the way I know some black people do when they're in mostly white spaces.
Yeah. Do black people come up to you and say, hey, I love Friends too? The show, Friends. Like, dude, like, you know, I feel like that's what happens when you're black or brown. People are like, hey, I'm into rap. You know, it's just like,
sure.
okay, cool. Like, I've been in situations where I don't think people mean any harm by it. I just think that they're to be like, oh, hey, like, I actually like Drake, and maybe this guy likes Drake because I'm into the culture of rap. And, you know, like, I think there's like a genuine passion, and I'm not going to discount someone for being having an ill intent. I just think it's funny that that's kind of a weird thing that happens when you're black or brown, is just people kind of like, oh, hey, did you see the BET Awards last night? You know, whatever it is, it's just, I find that, but yeah, I don't know if it goes in the reverse. Also, when people were asking me a couple of years ago about Black Lives Matter, they're like, how do you feel? How do you think it's going? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what white people say to each other. Because, like, all I know is what I hear white people say publicly and to me. I don't know what they're saying to each other, which is really work needs to be done. So, in my opinion, that's why I would encourage folks to just be like, hey, what are we doing here? What are we doing? What's going on?
Yeah. No, it's so true.
That's just one of those things.
At work, we have like affinity groups. So people who identify in similar ways can be together and kind of work through anti-racist work. So it's really cool that, you know, people can work through what they need to work through without other people like watching, you know, especially without white people watching. And we, as the white caucus, we really got to talk about like the racist stuff that comes up.
Yeah, it's
so.
I was talking to my friend David yesterday. My friend is down that way. He's we jam, we make music together. He was just working in Texas, in Houston, on a BET reality series as a sound guy, like the head of sound. And he was telling me that before he got there, now listen to this. I don't think I'm out of school by saying this because this is kind of a ridiculous thing that for someone to have said, but there was a woman who was, not that it really matters what her background was, but she said to like some of the black people, now listen to this, brace yourselves. Viewer discretion is advised. She said, oh, look at you guys looking all cute like you're on the plantation. which, and yeah, dude, it was cringy. And then he wasn't there for that, but he heard the story. And I was like, so what happened? He said, oh, they fired her. They fired her for that.
Nice.
Yeah, so, yeah, rightfully so. It's like, come on. You got to learn that you can't say stuff like that, and you've got to have consequences for saying some stupid things. And now that she knows, perhaps she knows better. Now, you know, I do believe in like, and then
but
moving
seriously
on from
though, and I don't really need to know the answer. But what does that even mean? Like, what does that even mean?
No idea.
Anyway, yeah.
But I've heard people casually say things to that effect. Like I've heard people just kind of throw that out like that's like okay to say. And, you know, for instance, in South Carolina, there are homes you can purchase to this day which have literally described in like the listings and or at least they're referred to this openly. There's the main house, and then there's the slaves' quarters. And people go ahead and look. I'm not making this up. I don't know if it's listed that way, but it's openly referred to that way. I know this from firsthand experience because I know someone whose parents bought a house in South Carolina, which we stayed at And they said, oh, yeah, those are the slaves' quarters out back. So I've heard this with my own 2 ears and eyeballs. So I was like, what do you do?
Wow.
But they've actually since, now they don't say this in real estate listings. They don't say master bedroom. They say, what do they say? What do they say? If you're listening to this show right now, there's a new term. It's not master bedroom, but it's like the main quarters or something like that. Master bedroom renamed. Oh, also I want to watch the new trailer for the new David Cronenberg movie. Do you like David Cronenberg?
I don't know what movie that is. I don't know if I'm bad with directors' names.
Yeah. No, it's okay. David Cronenberg directed some of the greatest movies of all time, in my opinion. He's my favorite director. He's just my favorite director, Judy. Yes, the master bedroom is now called the primary bedroom. It's no longer called the master bedroom on account of perhaps allusions toward the master and the slave situation that was prevalent for hundreds of years here in this country. And David Cronenberg, moving on from casual racism. Let's follow up with what this person said. They wrote another big thing. They said, well, I was talking about my experience about what it sounds like when someone says, I don't see race. I'm not racist. I don't see race. To me, like people are saying, oh, can't we just like, let's just like be white right now. And I say that because listen to this. If you say, hey, Studio 8H, welcome to the show. We're just talking about, casual racism. And if you say something like, I don't see race, you're literally saying, I don't see you. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah.
I don't recognize you. That's what it sounds like. Okay? And it may not be the intention, but when you say you don't see race, you're just like, well, everybody should just be like me then. It's kind of, if you think about it, what it might sound like to someone who is not you, or this person in the that we're referring to, this non-pictured person. If you think about what that might sound like, it's not outside the realm of understanding that's what it hits, it strikes as. Studio 8H reminds us there's nothing like a casual. Cheers to that. Studio 8H brings some quips and humor to the show, keeps the levity going. But it's true. It does sound like that. This reminds me of, I was talking about this person the other day who I was mentioning how they were never wrong about anything, and it was very frustrating. And when last year I said, hey, it's Juneteenth. I'm excited. Aren't y'all excited? It's Juneteenth. What do we say? Don't we go around saying Happy Juneteenth? Like, what do we do to celebrate Juneteenth? And this person who I'd been referring to, they don't like ska music. Or not, they don't like ska music. I had an argument about whether or not the music we were listening to was classified as ska punk. She said no, but she was wrong. Also, she was not wrong in her mind. Also, we had a discussion about the movie In the Heights, where I said I don't feel that I was accurately represented as a Dominican person from New York. In that movie, I don't think that there was an accurate representation or distribution of faces that you would see in Washington Heights, which is adjacent to the Bronx and whatnot, et cetera, et cetera. And she said there were plenty of Latin people in that movie. There were plenty. There was plenty of representation. She said there was plenty of representation. She told me there was plenty of representation. When I told her, I did not personally feel represented, being of the ethnicity and of the locale of the setting of the movie. But she told me that, no, there's plenty. You should be fine.
Right.
Then, here's another one. later, I was like, it's Juneteenth. It's exciting. Now, this person happens to be a white person. And she goes, I said, what do we do? It's exciting. It's a national holiday. It's now a national holiday. Juneteenth. We get the day off, whatever. We get to dance. What do we do? Like, what's the thing now? We say, Happy Juneteenth? And then she said, I don't want to appropriate. I don't want to appropriate. And I said, it's a national holiday. Literally
That's
the
like
day.
saying you don't celebrate Martin Luther King Day.
It's like saying that. It's like saying, it's literally the day the country, quote, you can still argue this, truly became free. Still argue this, though. Still argue
Right.
up until women got the vote. So, like, and then still argue that up until the integration of the 60s, the Jim Crow laws. And then you can still argue that till, a freaking man was murdered in the streets. But the point is, I said to her, it's a national holiday, okay? And she said, well, I don't want to appropriate. I'm like, we should all celebrate this. Every American should be celebrating. This was the real day, not 4th of July, that America became a free country. And then she said, well, I don't think that it's right for me or to basically recognize the holiday. And I said, when you say that, what that sounds like to me is like you're saying, I don't want to recognize you. I don't want to recognize you or your holiday. So that's what it sounds like to me.
Right.
Just FYI. Hey, 420 artists, welcome to the show. How are you doing? Do you have anything prescient for the? Do you have anything prescient to this conversation? Because I'm about to read.
Listening to absolutely. I'm always going to have something to say about some sort of civil rights issue, right?
Yeah,
That's what we do. It's what I do. I complain. So as far as calling it an appropriation is very inappropriate, if you will, terminology. As an American citizen, we should definitely be recognizing and understanding that it's the first time ever that the federal government admitted that it's about the people, not about their way of doing things. So right. I think just on that scale alone, understanding that, women getting the right to vote means that our system's mere design is designed not around equal rights like it says. It's designed around you have rights when we tell you meet the criteria to get rights. And I think that's very unfair to every person to think that it's an appropriation means that you don't understand how that affects you directly as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting to be to tell someone your personal experience and they're like, well, that's not the case. It's like there's a really, really so I'm about to read the response to what I said to this person who challenged my Instagram story about joking about some white people say, I'm not racist. I don't see color. When I hear that, I often hear, I don't see you. I don't think of you as different, even though you might be different, which is okay. Which is okay to be different. But I think yeah. It's literally
more appropriate, again, just interjecting some opinion, if that's okay. I think it's more important that people as a whole start to understand that we are all different, and our uniqueness being different is part of why we all like each other so much, right? But we're all literally shades of tan. We gotta really start figuring out how to get past the hurt and start to get to the healing and the building of what we belong to be, which is one people. We really belong this way.
Well, there just needs to be an acknowledgement of an actual problem. Like, if you acknowledge there's a problem, then you can start to work to fix it. It's like people like this 150%. Person's response. I'm going to read it. They just sent it about 10 minutes ago. When I said, hey, man, I respectfully disagree. I'm just literally telling you what it sounds like to me. That is what I'm saying. I'm literally saying when some people say this, it sounds like this to this person. So he wrote, well, that's inexcusable. Someone said that to you. That person is an idiot. Okay. Doesn't matter if you said. Doesn't matter if you said, quote,
if they're an idiot.
yeah. Doesn't matter if you said, quote, some. That doesn't soften the blow. It's the context of the passive aggressiveness. If I had said that about black people, I love when people try to reverse. All right, let me finish reading this. Let me finish. If I said that about black people, but was like, oh, I said some, would that make you feel better? You'd still be offended. Nowhere did I say I was offended, by the way. I just said that's what it sounds like.
I didn't hear you.
That's what it sounds like.
I just heard you call bullshit is what I see.
Right. It's hilarious to me because I'm pointing out the absurdity of what it sounds like, and it's kind of goofy to me that some people would think that this is how I feel about it. I'm not offended, necessarily. Which is interesting that they assume.
I find it in the same category. I mean, you would never find that being acceptable on any other level. It's just like when people say, I have gay friends, or I have black friends. I'm not racist, or I'm not bigoted because I have these friends. And you're like, that doesn't change what you just said, or how you're making me feel, or not validating your position.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like, it's just listening to someone say, hey, this is what this feels like when I hear this to me, and then going, oh, I acknowledge that. I hear you, and I acknowledge that your experience,
you're valid in your thought.
Yeah, that your experience is also true. So then they said, oh, like I said, some would that make you feel better? You'd still be offended. Just saying. Oh, then he says, I'm super stoked that you're landing big commercials. Good stuff. But I'm not gonna go any further with that. I mean, I'm not gonna go any further with that conversation. I don't think, but because it's just at that point, it's just gonna they're already set in their mind about. It's just frustrating because you can't. I don't know. It's just my experience.
Somebody like that. That's part of the reason the problem exists. Is the truth.
Yeah, it's pretty funny that he would just assume how I would feel if he said certain things, and we're just like, this. You just made up a story. You just made up a story in your head.
He also assumed that you would assume how he felt too, which was not fair.
Yeah, it's not fair. It's not fair. But I think I said what I had.
It's not right. That's the point.
Yeah, I think I said what I had to say, essentially, with just saying, "Hey, I'm just talking about my experience," so I don't have to reiterate that or anything. But 420 artists.
We were having a great talk about race today. Yesterday, actually, I've been working with this musician who's absolutely. I'm just so stoked to work with this man because he's done so much already. He had a lot of jazz projects and funk and stuff in the 70s through the 90s, and he just started talking about how racism needs to end and the stuff he went through in his mixed marriage, even back in the day, and all these things. And it's really deep stuff. I think it's just it's amazing to me that even in this day and age, that some of this stuff is still happening.
I mean, look, it's going to take a minute. It's going to take a minute. It's just been, it's going to take a minute. I think that people just want it to go away. And it's kind of in the same vein of saying, oh, I don't see race. I think that, I don't see race. I don't see you. I don't acknowledge you.
If you don't see it, it doesn't exist.
Yeah. And people.
Yeah, right. That's what it feels like, right?
Exactly. That's what it feels like. I get this, I'm agreeing with your sarcasm. I think that, that the country often like that when it's like, oh, Barack Obama is president, now racism is over. But, they kind of don't acknowledge the fact that for the entire 8 years, there was a racist Tea Party getting Donald Trump elected. After that, basically constantly pushing, America first. There was a reactionary situation to that. But I do want to move on from this conversation. Go ahead.
Yes. I was just saying, I think it's really good when people, discuss like you are about this. You're not going out saying, what an asshole, what an idiot you are. You're just basically like, listen, I'm just trying to tell you, you should just understand that this is my feeling.
Yeah.
That's all I'm trying to tell you.
Just expressing my experience. Just that's it. Now, I'm allowed. It's valid. This is what it sounds like and feels like. You can't deny that of someone if they say, I feel this way.
Somebody can prove you wrong about themselves, but not about somebody else. They can't prove wrong what somebody else has already done to you.
100 million %. Now, Judy, now we were talking earlier about, I guess we were talking about this the whole time. I think there was another point I wanted to... Oh, no worries. You're always welcome, 420 artist.
What was it? I appreciate you.
Well, how have you been? What have you been up to?
Well, I mean, if you really want to change the subject.
Well, I don't know. I kind of want to. I guess I want to put the subject to rest for a minute because I think that.
Who's in your top 8 spaces
for today? For
these next few minutes.
I had to be an adult and get adult stuff done that is not fun.
Oh yeah. What did you do?
Adult stuff sucks. I don't like adult stuff. It's a 1 out of 5. Wouldn't recommend.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I had to get an endoscopy and a colonoscopy, and it's not even time for me to get them. But
wait, are they doing it at the same time?
They did it during. I mean, not at the exact same time. It was one right after the other.
I suppose
It's 420. I can't. It sounds like you're inside of a plastic cup. What's going on? Did you have
no. Did it really do that?
It's very echoey and muffly.
My headphones switched off. That's what happened.
Okay.
Hold on.
He's giggling, but I didn't hear what he said.
So Judy, now you're getting all these procedures. What's that?
We fixed it now. I'm better.
Yes.
It's a little better. Yeah.
Well, to me.
Okay. I'm sorry. The comment was, I suppose if they did them at the same time, you would have looked like you were on a lathe. So.
Oh. No, but they did do the one right after the other, which I guess they don't do often. But my doctor was like, "Yep, we're just gonna get it done."
Get her done.
Okay.
And did you find any results that are good, bad, indifferent? Like what's going on?
They didn't find anything of concern. So
okay, good.
Now it's on to the next because they're just trying to figure some stuff out.
Right.
Things are not quite what they should be.
You've got superpowers, and they're trying to study you.
Yeah.
Right.
I couldn't hear that. 420. What did you say?
I says I'm glad they're really checking though. That's good.
Yes, you gotta.
No, they're taking it seriously.
Did they question you when you came into the doctor's?
You don't want to miss them.
Yeah, you want to be thorough. Well, hopefully they find out what's going on, and hopefully it's treatable, and you get all the treatment that you need.
Colonoscopy sounds pretty cool.
Do you want to hear a story?
Yes.
So I'm the person who's like, okay, sure, let's do that without asking any questions. So the next thing that they can do, because when they do the endoscopy, right, they only go to the top of the stomach. And when they do the colonoscopy, they're only looking at the large intestine. So there's the 25 feet of small intestine that doesn't get looked at. So, the doctor was like, well, if we really truly want to rule everything out, what we can do is we can do the pill bot and have you swallow this camera, basically pill camera.
That's cool.
And I was just like, okay, sure. I didn't ask any questions. I was just
did?
Sure.
Just give me the robot.
Ari, I'm that person that's literally just like, oh, okay, sure.
Yeah, do it.
I saw this movie called Inner Space.
Inner Space. You're talking about Inner Space. 420. I think I think you have to speak in the pauses because every time I think when we're talking all together, it just sounds like. So just a heads up.
I don't know why.
Okay. Inner Space was a good movie that had Dennis Quaid in it, and Martin Short.
Yes. Now she has Dennis Quaid in her too.
and Meg Ryan was in also that. Yeah, Dennis Quaid was inside Martin Short in that movie. Very funny movie. I remember.
Martin
actually,
awesome.
I watched it like a million times as a kid, and then I tried watching it again like a year or two ago. It's not good anymore. It's really bad.
It didn't hold up.
No, it's so.
Osmosis Jones.
Osmosis Jones. Oh, is that the Eddie? Oh, that's the Chris Rock movie.
Yeah, with the cartoon one. Yeah.
Yeah. Does he get slapped in that one, or I don't know which one? I actually saw the Tony Rock.
My guess is he gets slapped everywhere.
Yeah, Tony Rock, Chris Rock's brother, went up on stage. I heard a clip of it the other day, and he was pretty vicious about it. He was pretty mean about it. Oh, and he's like, "You go up on stage and slap my brother," and he just went off on Jada Pinkett and Will Smith. Yeah, it was hilarious. It was actually pretty funny. But hey, brace yourself, because he didn't pull any punches or slaps on that one. Orlando Jones. Yeah, it was a good. So Judy, I hope that they figure it out. So you are the person who just say, dice me up, throw me on the table, see what you can find. Well, that's good.
Yeah, well, pretty much.
There's a story when I was a kid. There's a story of a lovely lady. She was bringing up 3 very lovely girls. No, my parents once took me to the emergency room when I had a stiff neck when I was a kid. I had a stiff neck. And I think I remember why I got the stiff neck, by the way. Hey, Mom, if you're watching, I remember why I got a stiff neck that day. I had a cold also, but I got a stiff neck because I was ziplining in Scott Murray's backyard the day before. FYI.
So it wasn't meningitis like they thought it was.
Literally thought it was meningitis. They wanted to give me a spinal tap in the Southside Hospital. No. They're like, we need to extract fluid from your spine, and also you might go paralyzed if we mess up. And I'm a medical student. So like they were literally like, and I was like, I don't know, 10, 9 or 10, 8, 9, 10, 11, how old I was. And my mom was like, nope, thanks. And she just took me out and left. You're not going to give my son a spinal tap. So yeah. And technically, so that here's the thing about that. My mom could have been technically accused by doctors of neglect or something like that, right? Because she's like denying the medical treatment that they think I should have or something. I don't know. I don't know what the legality or the ethics of that is. But in the end, in the long run, the doctors were totally out of line. So I just had a stiff neck from zip lining, and they wanted to extract fluid from my spine. So that was a bit wackadoo. And my mom had the right instinct to take me the heck out of there and not get potentially paralyzed by a medical student. Not that they're... I don't know if you've ever been in an emergency room.
Apologies, I'm getting a phone call, but I wanted to let you know I love you and you're important, Aristotle. Thank you so much, my brother, for having me on for a few minutes.
Always and forever. We love you here, 420 Artists. Thank you for being here, as always. Studio 8H says, wait, did you just say your mom wouldn't let you see Spinal Tap? I know, Studio 8H. My mom said, you're not old enough to watch Spinal Tap. Which is... which is not true. Spinal Tap is good for all ages. This one goes to 11. Spinal Tap is the Bible for every band ever. And Studio 8H, I'm sure you're well aware of this. If you are a musician, here is the required reading. You've got the movie. This is Spinal Tap. Required absolutely 100%. You need to know every single line of that movie. Why don't you just make 10 the high? Why don't you just make it louder and then just make 10 the highest number? These go to 11. So you got to invest in that whole Rob Reiner movie. Also, Studio 8H, you will know this better than anybody because of your namesake. But what is the other absolutely required piece of prerequisite for any band member ever to know? And I'll give you a hint. Never question Bruce Dickinson. So, You absolutely have to know these things by heart if you are a musician, for sure. And I got to tell you, you really can't go anywhere where there's a rock band where they won't know these things. There's some really cool inside stuff that's just I was just talking the other day about all of the lingo that you develop on the road in a band, because you're on the road driving around in a van with 3-4 other creative people who are constantly coming up with stuff in their minds. So by the end of a tour or two, you guys are speaking your own language. And there's so many like hilarious references that reference this and reference that, and it's really, really such a joy to experience those things. I can't wait to do it again.
That's fun.
Judy, do you know what I was referencing by the fear?
I don't.
Don't fear the Reaper. Like, I don't know every bit of that thing. I'm gonna go ahead and say it's a sketch because Studio 8H. But every bit, hey Gene, you're ruining this for everyone. You gotta know, like,
cowbell sketch.
Yeah. Oh, what? I don't know why I can't play this part. Oh wait. Yeah. Cowbell sketch. I don't know how to play that song. Wait. Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's it. I can almost play it. Anyway, yes, it is the cowbell sketch. You got it right, Judy. Congratulations, you win. Absolutely nothing. But
that's what I thought. But then,
but then you what?
No, I thought maybe that was too easy.
It is pretty easy, but it's absolutely just required. Like, you just go up to any, especially any drummer. Like, I mean, the more you just shout more cowbell, everybody knows. Also, as a bass player, what is another thing that I always hear? Does anybody want to chime in on this one? Something that I always hear, no matter what, wherever, if I am holding a bass, someone will shout this at me. If I mention the bass, someone will say this phrase to me. Let's see if Studio 8H. Yeah, that's a good question. But here's another piece of trivia for all y'all out there. Blue Oyster Cult sings "Don't Fear the Reaper." Blue Oyster Cult is from Smithtown, Long Island. So, hey, Long Island, represent in the Blue Oyster Cult. I think, no, wait. Yeah. I'm not sure what town. It might be, I think it's Smithtown. There it is. Studio 8H coming in hot with all the knowledge and the know-how. The comedy history is remarkable, and one can remark upon that. Yes, slap of the bass, man. Like, people say that stuff all the time. It's like, it's still kind of funny, but it's like not as funny as the person who's saying it thinks it is.
Sure.
Because Paul Rudd sells it in such a funny way in the movie I Love You, Man. And he licks his thumb, he does this whole thing, and it's just ridiculous. And that portrayal, the birth of the Slap of the Bass Man and the Totes My Goats, is really, truly hilarious in that movie. Let me just give some applause. I don't know if I can hear that one. Good job, Studio 8H. I would say, yeah. It's funnier in the movie, guys. Just if you go up to a bass player, just know that they've heard that 1,000 billion trillion times before. Also, this is funny. One time, Judy, and this is funny in the sense that they actually did this. It's not funny in the sense that this particular song is like 11 minutes long, and we were supposed to go up after this band, and it was like kind of their last song, and then they decided they wanted to do like a 12-minute jam on and so we're just kind of like, come on, guys, you just did like 4 more songs. Like, yeah, it's like, but what is this? What is something people shout out at every show to every band ever? This is a fun quiz.
Freebird.
Exactly. Play Freebird.
No, sorry.
If I leave here tomorrow, if I leave here tomorrow, I don't know how to play it. Maybe I should learn it. There it is. Yeah, I can learn it right now. Sing it with me, people. I should do this next time someone shouts it out. If I leave here tomorrow, which is, I don't know.
I don't think I know the word.
Yeah. Nobody knows that song. I mean, everybody does. But this is the thing. This band, so I've played 300 or so shows. This particular band, it was hilarious because I've played 300 shows, which means I've played with 1,000 bands. Maybe. And every 10th show, someone's like, Freebird, or every 8th show, let's say. This was the only band that was just immediately started playing it when someone shouted it out. And I was like, all right, touche, well played. However, F you. Well
Nobody
played.
actually wants to hear Freebird.
No.
I said good day.
Maybe they do.
I don't know. I was just like, all right, I see what you guys did there. And they played the whole thing. They didn't just do like a minute, like, or a verse and a chorus as a joke. Or they just played the entire song. And I was like, oh, come on. I don't know. Maybe they did that back in the day when people actually wanted to hear Freebird. But
Right.
play some Skinnerd. However, when I was on set for that commercial where we played live a couple months ago,
Yes.
we're in the desert, we're playing live, and literally, I think one of the grips yelled out, "Play some Nugent," and I just was like, I started playing some Stranglehold on the guitar, on the bass, actually, and I was like, "You asked for it." But, so that was pretty cool. I don't know. I'm always, whenever I'm doing like a sound check or whatever, and someone's in the crowd in the audience and they just shout out something, I'm always happy. I'm always game. I'll just do whatever. I think it reminds me of is I was watching the Red Hot Chili Peppers perform the song "Give It Away" the other day on Howard Stern. Did you watch that?
Yes, I saw that video. Yeah.
Okay, they haven't lost a step. These guys are out of their minds. I love it. I love watching them. But Howard said, "Now, do you guys ever get sick of this song? The song's literally 30 years old." And Anthony Kiedis, without missing a beat, was just like, "Nope, we love this song. It's so fun to play. It never gets old." So that's something.
Yeah.
How cool is that? He's like, "This one is particularly fun. We love playing it always. It never gets old." And then we close the show with it because what do you follow "Give It Away" with? And it's just true. It's just a cool thing to be like, "Hey, look, this song brings people so much joy, and it's because we have experienced so much joy playing it." So that song is pretty badass. It's just really, it's just a really. Let's go back to the 90s. It's a really slamming tune. It slaps. So I find it I started like guffawing when I was listening to it in my car, just live on the radio, and I just started guffawing like this. These guys are really good. These guys are really good at their instruments and really good at playing this song, and there's just no other combination of humans that can play the song in that with that intensity. And I just thought that was like a special thing. And that's how if you every time, for instance, my band Veda, people would be like, play All For You again, and we'd be like, yep, let's play it again. Let's just keep playing it.
Yeah. I loved being in the audience watching you guys play that. It was such a fun song. Such a great song.
It was sincere. It's a sincere song, and that's why it I think was just so enjoyable to play. Every song was enjoyable to play. I can't think of a song that I didn't enjoy playing. There was a couple songs where I would be like, "Oh, this song's hard," in my head, and I'm like, "I hope I don't mess it up tonight," But like, because there's some, but about a week in, you're making very few errors because you've kind of hit your stride on a tour. But just the joy of playing live for people I do not relate to those musicians who are like, I don't like to play this song, or I don't want to play this. I'm just like, go to hell. Get out of here. Get lost, kid. Go take a long walk off a short pier. I'm gonna toss you out on your ear. Go walk out into go play Frogger with yourself. So I say all these things. I don't know. That's pretty harsh. I don't know. But it's just funny to me that people are like, I don't want to play this song. Like, no, play the song. Play the song. Play your heart out. Always. But interestingly enough, the dude who I was having that little conversation with is a drummer that I used to play with.
Oh, really?
But, yeah, briefly. I have stories, but anyway, I'm not going to throw him under the bus. But other than, I'm not going to name him, but it's just an interesting conversation to be told I'm out of line for being like, hey, this is what this sounds like to me. You're out of line.
Right.
When I hear this, it could sound like this to my ears. But slap it a bass, man. I did want to watch the trailer for the new David Cronenberg movie, but I think I'll save it for tomorrow.
Did say that.
I'm going to see a show tonight.
Save it for tomorrow?
Well, it came out today, and then it'll be old news by tomorrow, so it's just kind of a pain in the neck to... Well, let me see if we can do it. Let's do it real quick here. I'm going to try to do it. We're going to try to watch this trailer real quick. I'm going to see a show tonight with my friend Travis. He's been on the show.
Cool.
It's called Cages, which is interesting. I don't know what it's about. He just said the other day, I've got tickets for a show. You want to go? And I was like, yeah. And then yesterday it occurred to me, what kind of show? I don't even know where we're going. I was like, yeah, sign me up. It's Gallagher, too. Let me see.
Oh my gosh. That would be so fun.
Yeah. Gallagher
'Cause
2.
he's ridiculous.
Well, Gallagher 2 is his brother, by the way. Gallagher II. And I know Studio
Right.
8H.
Yes,
Studio
no.
8H is well versed in comedy history, so they know who I'm talking about. But Gallagher 2 is just, there was a whole lawsuit, this whole intellectual property thing going on, and he just literally salud does Gallagher's act, which is just such a weird, I don't know, things are weird. People are weird. Imagine just like making your life just stealing your brother's comedy act. That's your life. Because it's confusing, because he looks like him, he dresses like him, he does the same act. And you're like, how is this okay? This is taking
It's odd.
It's very odd. In the 70s, there was a band called... It's a very tragic ending to this band, but the band called Badfinger. Very cool band. I really like their music. I won't talk about the tragedies of that band, but you can read about it. It's really terrible. But At one point, the two main singer guys in the band split up, or I think it was like one of the guitar players left the band and then started a band called like The Real Badfinger. So it was like Badfinger and then like The Real Badfinger. And it was very confusing because they played all the same songs and they both went on tour as Badfinger. And it was just a very confusing time for people, apparently. I don't know. I'm trying to download this thing. It's just going to take too long. So we'll have to wait till tomorrow to do this. It's just, I got to get ready for the show and here's the thing, guys. If you'd like to donate.
Even if it's old news, it still could be fun to watch tomorrow.
Yes, I hope so too. I hope so. Trying to get that new computer, ladies and gentlemen. So please feel. I hope you're compelled to donate money. I know Studio 8H, you're a supporter of the show. Actually, I didn't know there was a Gallagher 2. Interesting. Yeah, Studio 8H. Well, get ready to go down the rabbit hole of Gallagher 2, which is ridiculous. It's sad. It's actually very sad. In the sense that it's, how do you make a living just stealing your brother's act? You're kind of infringing on your brother's living. Come up with your own act. Did Gallagher die? I feel like Gallagher's dead. If he's not,
I feel like maybe, but I can't look it up right now.
Gallagher. He's alive. That's how you know when people are alive, when you read their wiki and they say is or was. Is an American comedian. He's 75.
Okay.
Yeah. I know that he gave up swinging that hammer over his head because he's got a heart condition, so he can't be swinging a hammer around. And he'd been doing that act. That act was hilarious when I was 9. I don't know how. Maybe he and Carrot Top have a traveling show right now. But Carrot Top and Gallagher loved it when my comedic tastes had not yet developed necessarily. I think Gallagher is a good fun act. I don't know. I think it's an art piece, really. Dude just smashes fruit. It's kind of a waste of food, though. Yeah. He's got some good. I always loved when Gallagher, and now we're going to talk about Gallagher for a minute, would be about to swing the hammer and then he'd just drop it behind him and go, he would just keep the people on their toes.
Yeah.
Such a, very funny guy. But Gallagher 2, ladies and gentlemen, very, very stupid. Maybe Gallagher 2's dead. Maybe Gallagher 2 was killed by Gallagher. Maybe they're the same Gallagher. But hold on a second. Just I'm getting this just in. We're more calling Orson right now. Well, I'm gonna wrap it up. Oh, the FaceTime opened up. Interesting. Thank you, Judy, for hanging out and chatting with me, and hope you're feeling better. Are you feeling okay?
I'm feeling fine. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm in love with her and I feel fine. I've heard that before. Feeling fine and things are going well and
Yeah, I mean, there's
I do.
Work is work. Work keeps me busy, and gonna go hang out with people this weekend. It's Easter weekend.
Oh, that's right.
And that's about it.
I'm gonna hang out with my friend Megan on Sunday.
Nice.
Her boyfriend's playing a service. He plays trumpet in like a band, and he's gonna play a big church service. So we're gonna go to like this big church service at 7 a.m. or something. So it should be fun. I'm excited.
That's way too early.
Yeah, but We like to get started early.
I'm just gonna
the
go
party.
chill with Tony.
That's cool. Say hi. And be well. Up. Studio 8 says, I know what I'm doing tonight now. Gallagher 2, Wormhole. Yeah. I think there's an entire story about... I mean, I feel like there's got to be a documentary at this point about the whole thing. Yeah. Everybody's got a documentary. I'm going to come out with a Veda documentary. It'll be great. You know, it's going to be funny. Like, I really do need to get like everybody's perspective. So at some point, I feel like I would have to... I'm going to send someone to go interview our singer. And just be like, you guys see how dumb this guy is? Anyway, maybe, I don't know. People would probably take his side or my side. It doesn't matter. There's two sides to every story, I suppose. People might find sympathy on his side. Yeah.
There's 3 sides to every story. There's your side, my side, and then there's the truth.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. I always say that.
Right?
You know what I would always...
Isn't that the saying?
That is the saying, and that's what when my friend said one time, he's like, "Oh yeah, your singer told me what happened with the band," and I said, "Oh yeah, well there's what he says and there's the truth." I literally said that. I'm like, "There's what he says, and then there's the actual truth." So just take that with a grain of salt. Speaking of throwing people under the bus, thank you. Look, whatever. Paths diverge. Things happen. Just be wise and kind about how you treat people, and be straightforward and honest. And look, this ain't rocket surgery. I'm just trying to say, hey, be like just human. Just do human things the right way. Stop sucking at human things. People who suck. I'm not saying anybody here sucks at it. I'm just sending out a message. Like, come on. It makes things go easier. If I don't know. I could say these things all day. It's not going to change anything. But my intentions are out there. I would like for people to maybe one day. I don't know. It's better to send out the right message than to perpetuate the wrong one, I think. Because I think YouTube and everything thrives on drama and dysfunction and toxicity, and it don't got to be that way. Maybe it's more boring, but it's healthy. I don't think it's boring. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna let everybody go. You guys can go on with your night. Studio 8H, enjoy Gallagher 2. Judy, enjoy. I know that you're gonna watch Gallagher videos all night too, so enjoy that. Judy, big fan of Gallagher. She doesn't stop about it. She's like, "Can we go see Gallagher again? I would like to see him smash the giant watermelons on the stage, and I want front row tickets because it's just exciting to be there." It's just when you're in the room with Gallagher, it's electric.
It's the most expensive way to get watermelon.
Yeah.
But,
just bring a bucket. I think it's hilarious when the people are like eating the food that lands on them. I'm like, hey, waste not, want not. All right. I am going to let you go now. Thank you so much. This has been fun. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. See you tomorrow.